Mayan's house. Eoma, please, it is only for one day, you pleaded to your mother, who was standing in the kitchen and chopping onions. Your mother didn't even bother to look up at you. You sat plopping on the dining table chair. Eoma, I want to take a day off from school just for tomorrow. Hana Yuni, she got married a week ago. I couldn't go to her wedding because of exams. And now I wanna go. Hannah studied in your college. She was a senior, and once she saw someone trying to teach her, so you helped her, and since then she became your bestie. She is 2 years older than you. Your mom looked up at you. No, no more distractions. You barely passed your last midterms, and if the things kept going on like this, I bet you will get 0% in final exams, and I can't afford that, she said firmly. But Ioma, no, you helped that girl once. That doesn't mean you owe her own future. She's not just that girl, Ioma. She's my best friend and she's very sweet and caring. She's older than you and married. It is not your place to follow after someone else's life. Study hard, then you will have time for friends and wedding later. She said coldly, putting kimchi and rice in your lunchbox. Silence stretched. Your mom walked over to you holding your lunchbox. What kind of daughter wants to skip school when she is already at the edge of failing? Huh? She said, placing the box in front of you. You let out a sigh and without a word you reached forward, took the lunchbox and shoved it into your backpack. You stood up quickly, the chair screeching behind you. I am going, you muttered. But you have not even touched your food, she yelled. You didn't reply and walked out the house with a sad pout. The air outside was cooler than you expected. The trees were slowly waking up, shopkeepers raising shutters, kids laughing on their way to school. You walked fast, frustrated and heartbroken all at once. You didn't understand why your mother never listened. You always study hard but still end up getting hardly passed. You sighed and kicked out the stone on your way in frustration. Suddenly you heard an unfamiliar voice. Look at her, acting all cold. A raspy voice cut through your storm of thoughts. You stopped across the narrow street. A group of boys loitered near a wall. They were from another school, clearly older, maybe high school dropouts or worse. Your gaze flickered at them once. You resumed walking, but they were not done. You felt that heat rise to your face, not from embarrassment but worry. Another one stepped forward. You rolled your eyes but didn't stop. Your eyes were filled with rage, but you were trying to stay calm, but that was until one stepped right in front of you. You clenched your fist and then looked up at him, giving him a fake sweet smile. You were done now. Opa. He leaned forward, smug without a second delay. You him. His hands froze in place. Oops, what happened? You said with a smirk, but your eyes were blazing. They got scared. You froze for a split second. Oh no. You groaned in annoyance. The girl, you wiped the sweat off your eyebrow with the back of your head, muttering under your breath, losers. You let out a deep sigh and walked towards your college, your one hand still covering, though it was not that much visible, but still you were feeling quite comfortable. By the time you reached the school gate, students were already gathering and some were hurriedly walking towards their classroom. You frowned and looked at your wristwatch. Your eyes widened. Oh no, he must have reached the classroom. You muttered to yourself, gripping the strap of your bag tightly. As you reached the classroom door, heart still pounding from the street and the argument with your mother, you passed outside the door, took a shaky breath, and knocked lightly, your hands slightly trembling. Inside, you could already hear his voice, calm, deep, commanding. Professor Jungkook, you gulp. Of all days, he had to be the one taking first period. You slowly pushed the door open as the students turned towards you, but your eyes locked straight on the man at the front. Jungkook was standing near the whiteboard, one hand in his pocket, the other holding a marker. His black button down shirt clung perfectly to his toned frame. His sleeves were rolled up to his forearms. His hair fell slightly over his forehead, his jaw was tense, and his eyes, they landed on you the moment you knocked at the door. Your heart skipped a beat as you looked up at him. May I come in, Professor? You stuttered. The room went silent. He stared at you for a moment, long enough for you to gulp again and regret being late. He opened his mouth, about to say something likely to scold you, but then his gaze dropped. His brows furrowed, his eyes darkened slightly. You noticed shift in his eyes. His eyes became more darker and his hands curled into a fist under the table. What happened to you? He asked, his voice low but sharp. Your throat tightened. Nothing, I just tripped a little on the street. His eyes narrowed. If it is nothing, why you look so nervous? But he didn't said. Instead he remained quiet, his jaw clenched. He glanced around the classroom, eyes scanning the boys briefly. He didn't want anyone else to see. He cleared his throat and spoke. Come in. He finally said, voice cold. You bowed slightly and entered, walking hastily to your usual bench in the back, but then his voice stopped you again. Miss Wyan, sit here. He tapped the first bench right in front of his desk, the seat where only he could see you clearly. Your eyes widened slightly. Here, your lips trembled. I said sit. You nodded and walked up nervously, sitting down and placing your bag on your lap. Throughout the lecture, you could feel his eyes. Time to time, he didn't speak another word about it, but you felt the storm silently brewing inside him and everyone else. They just thought he was being cold. After a while, the bell rang loudly, echoing across the hallway. Students rushed out quickly, relieved that the intense lecture was over, but you stayed seated, pretending to pack your bag. Jungkook was standing near the podium, pretending to check papers. As the last student left the classroom, he folded the paper and looked at you with his dark eyes. Come to my cabin now. His voice murmured beside you, low and unreadable. You slowly nodded without even eye contact. With that, he left the classroom. His jaw was clenched tightly. You slowly stood up and zipping up your bag, you left for his cabin. As you reached his cabin, you knocked softly on the door. Come in. His voice cold, and you replied. The room was filled with the warm scent of coffee and cologne. The blinds were drawn. The window creaked open, letting in a soft breeze. He stood behind his desk with arms crossed, eyes fixed on you. You walked towards his desk, silently fidgeting with your fingers. Take a seat, he said calmly. You nodded and sat down on the leather chair. There was a silence for a moment, and then he spoke in his cold, raspy voice. Are you going to tell me the truth now? I, I just, I was on my way to school, and then that happened. Jungkook jaw clenched instantly, his finger curled into fist. His eyes turned completely cold. And then he asked, though he didn't want to. Your voice cracked. I made all of them scared. Despite the anger simmering in him, his brows lifted in surprise. You made them scared? You nodded. Yeah, but when I was skiing during the scuff, He was silent again. Then he walked around the desk slowly and knelt down in front of your chair. You blink. Checking your knees, he spoke. You are bruised, he murmured. It is not a big deal. I am fine. You are not. You should have told me the second you walked in. I didn't want to worry you. He stood up and grabbed a small first aid box from the drawer, then sat on the edge of the desk, dabbing your knee with cotton soaked in antiseptic. You gasped again. He looked at you for a moment. Don't stress out. I am fine. Promise. Jungkook slowly chuckled. He said firmly, you smile, feeling lucky to have him by your side. Yes, you both are in secret, and it's been 4 months. No one knows about it except both of you. Jungkook was admiring you. His brows furrowed. He walked over to the drawer near his desk and pulled out a soft, oversized black hoodie which belonged to him. He walked back over and gently wrapped it around your shoulders. He looked up into your eyes and spoke. Take this hoodie. I don't want anyone else. He said, making you blush deeply. You nodded with a smile. Thank you. Before he could respond, you rushed out of the cabin, your heart racing. Jungkook smiled to himself shyly. Time skipped in the canteen. You were sitting in the canteen, chewing on a half-formed sandwich. Still wrapped in hoodie, his scent lingered, making your stomach do flips. Suddenly your phone buzzed. It was your best friend again. Why and she? Did you take a leave from your professor? Huh? I'm telling you, I won't hear any excuse. You are coming at my place tomorrow and that's final. Bestie, you know my professor is strict. He won't grant me a leave without a solid reason. I am already getting low grades in his subjects. You knew Jungkook became very strict when it comes to your studies. I don't care. You promised you would spend the day at my place. I already bought snacks and bought your favorite novels. I also want to come, but I don't want think he would grant me a leave. Then lie. Say your cat died. You rolled your eyes. He won't. Hannah thought for a while and then spoke excitedly. Then say your grandmother died. Bestie, she already has been died. But who knows? He doesn't know, right? She said, chuckling. Your eyes lit up with mischief. That's a horrible but effective. Yeah, I'm sure he will grant you a leave after this. You sighed and hung up, staring at your half eaten sandwich, guilt starting to creep in. Lying to Jungkook, even if it was a small, didn't sit right, but still you needed a leave for Hannah. Back in the classroom, Jungkook was delivering a lecture while you were lost into your thoughts that how would you start acting. Jungkook turned around to the students, but as soon as his eyes landed on you, his eyes turned red after seeing you. Miss Ryan, Professor Jungkook, my mom just called me when I was in canteen. She was crying. She said that my grandmother died. She was very dear to me. I would be thankful to you if you grant me a leave for tomorrow, she said, fake sobbing. Jungkook's heart arched seeing you like that. He wanted to console you, not in front of everyone. Miss Ryan, we feel sad for your grandmother's loss. I grant you a leave. Just stay with your parents and console them too. You nodded, wiping off your unshed tears, and sat again on the chair. The next morning, you were packing your small bag, keeping your essential in it, when your mom walked in with her arm crossed. Where are you going? You gulped. To my best friend's place. Professor gave me a leave. What? Your professor gave you a leave knowing that you got lowest grades in the entire class? He didn't want to, but then I told him that my grandmother died. She looked at you in a disbelief. You said what? You sighed. You hate it already. Don't pretend. You are getting spoiled day by day. Let your father come once from Paris. I will tell that you lied to your professor. No, Yoma, please don't tell that. Fine, but promise me you won't lie again. She said, crossing her arms. I promise, Mom, I won't lie in future, you said, making her smile. Time skipped. As soon as you stepped out of the cab, your eyes widened. Tall gates, immaculate lawns, paved stone driveways. Every house looked like it belonged to a richest family in a drama. You glanced down at your phone. I'm here. Which house is yours, bestie? White one with a black gate and big tree. Gates open. Just walk in. You hung up and turned to the mansion in front of you. Your jaw dropped. It was massive, 3 floors tall, elegant white, with black window frames, glass balconies, and a driveway. You gulped and stepped inside, walking up the marble step. The door opened before you could even knock. Yay, finally! Your best friend practically screamed. I missed you. The night is going to be so much fun. Okay, let me breathe. You sat on the couches, surrounded a glass table, chandeliers parked above. Giant abstract painting lined the walls. You sat down, eyes wide. Your house is a palace. She grinned. Well, my brother-in-law's family is kinda loaded. This is their guest house. You blink. Guest house? Yeah, I shifted here 2 days ago. My husband is abroad and my brother-in-law lives here. He's sick today and resting upstairs. You nodded, looking around with awe. Soon the maid brought out a tray full of steaming tteokbokki, kimbap, and lemon soda. You both sat on the couch, chatting and laughing loudly like old times. The room echoed with your laughter, but you had no idea what that laughter had just woken up. Upstairs, a large bedroom door creaked open. Jungkook stepped out in grey sweatpants, hair tousled from sleep. His brows were furrowed, jaw tense. He rubbed his eyes, his head pounded. He would have taken a sick leave to recover from the stress. He thought today would be quiet until he heard that laugh, familiar, too familiar. He grinned and muttered to himself, "Who is there to ruin my peace now?" He walked out of the room, down the curved staircase, still closed until he turned the corner and stopped in his tracks. His hand gripped the banister. Because there on his living room couch was sitting you, laughing with his sister-in-law. Jungkook mouth parted. When you were sipping lemon soda mid-laugh when you heard it. Your soul froze, your fingers slipped. The glass in your hand shattered on the floor. You turned around slowly with eyes widening to see Jungkook, half awake and 100% glaring at you, your brain short circuited. Professor? Hana blinked, confused. Wait, you two know each other? Jungkook slowly walked down the last few steps. I should be asking you, Ryan, what are you doing here? He said coldly, his eyes fixed on you. You stammered. I didn't know this was your house. I came to see her. She's my best friend. You lied to me, Ryan. You looked down, not being able to form any coherent words. Jungkook sighed, and in one swift motion, he stepped forward. Wait, Jungkook. No, we are talking upstairs. He said firmly, eyes unreadable. Hana stood there, jaw dropped, his eyes started between you. Then suddenly she whispered loud enough for both of you to hear. He's the septic mischief forbidden boyfriend you have been whining about for months? You flushed red. You need, don't say it like that. Jungkook smiled slightly but didn't stop. As he climbed the stair with you, Hana could be heard giggling like a maniac behind you. He opened the bedroom door and walked inside. His jaw clenched. I should be asking you that. Why did you lie to me? I was scared. You wouldn't let me. get a leave. So instead of telling me the truth, you decided to fake your grandmother's death? You looked down, long second, the tension in his jaw relaxing just slightly. Don't lie to me ever again. You looked up and nodded quickly. I won't, I promise. He tilted his head. Swear it. I swear. He took a deep breath, finally letting out a soft sigh. You whimpered softly. Just because I forgave you doesn't mean I won't ask you. Your cheeks turned red. For what? For lying to your boyfriend, he said. Back in the living room, Hannah was jumping in excitement. Oh my best friend gonna marry my brother in law. Oh, she fell to her knees on the carpet laughing.